Our policies are fully costed and they've been stress tested, because people think, how on earth are they going to pay for that? They're stress tested by top economists in the country. We took them through, we worked it out, because a lot of reform people are business people, small business people. So that's real business world rather than corporate business, which is pretend business. So they stress tested with economists after we worked it out, and think tanks and political advisors as well. So we put it all through them.
On that point, with respect,
yes,
Starmer and Sunak, I mean, all their stuff they went through the FSI as well, didn't they? And it was all sort of looked at. And so what's the difference?
Right, I'll tell you the difference. That's a good question. If you look at, let's just take Labour quickly, and I'll come back to reform. Okay. So if we take Labour, there's two ways they're going to pay for everything. One is they're going to tax the public schools. So everyone that can just manage, the middle class people that do two jobs that can just about manage to send their clever kids to public school, now I've got to put them in the state school, because that's pushed them over the edge, right? So now all that money they were going to make, they're going to have to pay twice as much. So that's a nonsense. The other thing they would do is non-doms. That's how they're going to pay for everything. That are not bothering coming here, because there's better countries to go to. They can go to Ireland on 12% corporation tax, right? Instead of the 25 here, plus. And then they're going to do non-dom on top. Why would you? There's plenty of other nice places to go. They want to go to what they want is a safe country, and Britain was a safe country. Less so now, unfortunately. But a safe country where the money's safe as well. But a lot of non-doms, their money's been frozen, if you know, or whatever, if you've got a bad leader in your country. So both of those, that's not going to work. Whereas ours is, I'll give you one, how we're going to fund it, okay? The Bank of England, let me just step back. In COVID, we printed a lot of money called QE, like Quantitive Easing, made up money, but we printed it to pay for everything. And a lot of the banks took that money and didn't spend it, so they had a lot of that money was washed in the bank system. Now, when the banks lend to us, they have to put a 10% on reserve for the Bank of England. So if they lend to you 100 billion or whatever it is, they've got 100 trillion. They have to put a certain 10% with the Bank of England, so as a deposit. Bank of England now pay interest up to, it varies, 35 to 40 billion a year. Now, no other central bank does that I know of. I think America might, but Central Bank of Europe don't do it, definitely. Central Bank of Japan don't do it. We are going to stop that, and that 40 million. Billion, thank you.
That's all right, there's a bit of a difference.
A huge difference. Billion is going to...
I'll go with him to Westminster, we'll be fine.
Yeah.
It's all right.
He's coming with me. So, yeah, billion is going to be, that's one of our aims that we're going to do. You can save 30 billion from the net zero stuff, because on all of your, at the moment, the cost of living crisis, you're paying £160 a year for the green stuff, which is going to green billionaires. There's a lot of green billionaires now, who are then donating to each government, to each party to keep it going. So it's a, you know, I'll scratch your back, you scratch mine, goes around like that. When we haven't got any of that, that's why we haven't got the money. Right, we've got any of those. We're all sort of, most of the candidates are called just financing themselves. You know, because we're passionate and we're authentic. We're doing it for us and the people. And I can tell you now, I'm not doing it for this room. I'm doing it for our kids that hate us and are going to wake up and go, why didn't you do something? We didn't know, we were only young. We bought into it, you know, and I'll at least be able to say, look, you know, I did try, didn't you? Right? How'd it go? So there's two, it's 30 billion, it's 40 billion. You know, all our stuff, it makes sense. Not only that, what we haven't added into the mix, and if you go to our contract, you'll see a list of all the things we're going to pay for, a list of all the money that it's going to pay for it, and we've got a 10 billion leeway. Not only that, we haven't added in like the other parties. What happens when we turbocharge business, we're going to make a lot more money. Our economy is going to fly. And we're going to do that. Look, at the moment, they are hampering small businesses. This is a real subject of mine. The high street. So if you go to sort of Redruth, you'll see more shops shutting down, don't you? You go through, and you've got lovely buildings. There's some lovely buildings there. It breaks my heart. And you see these shops shutting. Now, why are they shutting? because the corporate out of town businesses are doing it right with their free park. So what we would do, if you want to open that shop, as you walk in the door, you've got to pay business rates. Before you made a penny of turnover, let alone profit. And you've got that over your head, a fixed sum for that shop. So we will abolish business rates and we'll replace that with an online delivery tax of a couple of percent. What's 3, I think it's got to 4%. Now, it's not a huge amount. For places like Amazon, you know, when they deliver, people won't mind paying a few more pennies to keep the high street. But that's going to raise an enormous amount of money for us to do that. And what else we'll do is we're going to raise the threshold of corporation tax. So they don't have to pay any tax until they made £100,000, right? And we're going to raise the threshold of VAT, if we have to be VAT registered, to £150,000. So you don't have to be VAT registered till you get to 150,000. Those 3 policies will not only turbocharge our high street, you will see a huge change, but the rest of the business community and self-employed people like electricians and plumbers, and encourage entrepreneurship. And that's going to grow business and create employment, because 95% of businesses are small and medium-sized enterprises, not corporations, and they employ 2/3 of the workforce. So you can imagine, and with our other policy of making work pay, and that's how we need to get people back into employment. So 1.5 million people are still unemployed since COVID, bringing it up to 5.5 million. They'll tell you that figure's wrong, but if you listen to the journalist Fraser Nelson from The Spectator, the editor there, he did a piece on this and proved these figures. And they said, oh no, you're wrong. He went, and he wouldn't have it. He put the figures, then they shut up. So it's not hard to bring that sort of amount of people back to work, especially if we make work pay. So at the moment, you pay tax, you get 12.5 grand or so, and then you start paying income tax. We're going to raise that to 20,000. You can make £20,000 without paying any income tax.